Good morning, Clive Enniver, business strategist here, welcoming you to another Monday morning motivation. Set you up for another great week, we trust, because it's all about the weeks. If we have good weeks following good weeks, following good weeks, chances are we're actually achieving what we want to achieve. And it's getting off to a good start. And look, this is something we see everywhere all the time. If we get off to a poor start, it's really hard to catch up. So getting off to that good start is all important. And this week, I want to follow on from what we talked about last time, which was telling your story. This week, I want to talk about telling your story clearly, very, very, very clearly. The thing about telling your story clearly is it helps you identify who your ideal customer is. It helps you deliver the information that's necessary for that person to understand that you're the right person to help them, that your business is the one that's going to deliver whatever it is that they want as an outcome. And sometimes it's very, very difficult to explain that. And I find this a lot with the people that I work with, that notwithstanding they understand really clearly what it is that they do, that is what they do on the tools, they have great difficulty explaining to a prospective customer how they're going to help that customer. At the end of the day, most people don't care what you do on the tools. What they care about is the result that they're going to get. And of course, what you do on the tools does relate to that, insofar as they want a good outcome, they don't want a poor outcome. So that's important, how good you are at what you do. What's more important is being able to express to your customer what it is that your customer wants, how you're going to deliver that. So the things to think about, well, in identifying your ideal client, what is it that explains who your ideal client is? How do you identify them? Can you pick them out as you walk down the street? I don't know. I've been doing this a long time. I've never managed to pick out who a client is just as they're walking down the street. But there are specific things about the people with whom you wish to work that identifies them very, very clearly. And if you can put that into words, that will allow that person to identify themselves. That is, when you say what it is that you do, they'll put their hand up and say, I am your prospect. They won't use those words, by the way. Well, very, very rarely they might use those words, but they do have a way of showing you that they are their customer. And if you have the right words, it also identifies people who are not your customer. And it's all about being positive about who you are and what you do. There's no need to be negative in any sense about what it is that you do, to explain to somebody why you want to work with them or not. So all of this, very, very important. All of this often missed by people in business, and often missed by people who are in business for a long, long time. I've worked with people who've been in business for more than 20 years, some occasions more than 30 years, who were not able to accurately identify who their ideal client is. And having worked with them to identify who those ideal clients are and what it is specific to those people that makes them want to work with that particular business, their businesses have doubled, trebled, and in some cases as much as 10 times in a space of a few months what their business previously was. Now, all of this growth, of course, is wonderful if you understand how to use and manage that growth. But if you want to have a business that's going to give you the life that you want, the very first thing we need to understand is who your ideal customer is. It cuts out all sorts of wastage, time lost in talking to the wrong people, trying to do something for somebody that isn't quite right, somebody who's not a good fit. And indeed, it's probably important, I think, to understand that if a customer turns out to be the wrong customer, it's not the customer's fault. The customer is looking for an answer, and if we give the message that we can deliver what they want when we don't really understand what it is that they want, or we don't understand that what we do doesn't actually fit what they want, then it's probably not their fault that they got excited that we could deliver the outcome that they thought they wanted, that we thought we understood. If there's a misunderstanding, it's probably us who are trying to deliver rather than they who are trying to discover. So understanding how to express what it is that you do is really, really important. Now, to assist with this, I'm actually having a workshop very shortly, and in that I'm going to work with you to identify who you really want to work with, and this comes right down to you. It is who you want to work with, and that will identify your ideal client. We'll also look at how you do that, when, where, and how you actually go about delivering your services or products. We also look at what their expectation is. What is the expectation of the customer? What do they want from you? And then how do you satisfy that expectation? How do you manage those expectations and deliver outcomes that are satisfactory for the client? So knowing your ideal customer and clearly identifying who that person is and what they want obviously is going to help you have more satisfied customers. I see lots of talk about what one needs to do in order to have a raving fan as a customer. It's actually very simple and done right at the start. If you find the ideal customer and deliver the outcome the ideal customer wants, you actually have a raving fan. Now, in the text beside this, in the post itself, you'll find a link to that workshop, and I encourage you to come along and work with me to find out who your ideal customer is, how to identify them, and in doing so, grow your business and be able to express very, very clearly who you are and what you do, who you work with, and how that all unfolds. So do click on the link, find yourself a seat, and the quicker you are, the better, because there are early bird prices and they run out at the 15th of the 9th. So after the workshop, we will have a follow-up conversation, one-to-one, just to make sure that you've got the best outcome that you possibly can to identify your ideal client. And in the meantime, have a great week.